Well, to help us get a sense of the significance of these elections, I have with me in the studio Leela Jacinto, our International Affairs Editor. Good to see you, Leela. So what are the stakes in this election then?
They couldn't be higher. I mean, just a year ago, nobody paid any attention to Romanian elections apart from Romania and East European experts. That changed, as you said, last year in November when Kalin Georgescu leapt from obscurity to win the first round in November. And this election results, as you said, was annulled by Romania's constitutional court due to allegations of irregularity and Russian interference. And so, which is why we are having this rerun today, which the Constitutional Court ordered. Now we have a far-right candidate, George Simonoi, as you mentioned, who is leading. He's the front-runner in the polls. But what we are seeing is rather unprecedented because for the first time in the US, when Donald Trump won the election in January, we saw these unprecedented scenes of Trump appointees basically accusing Romania of undermining its democratic values. And, this unlikely scenes of the White House accusing a NATO ally member of not being democratic and stealing the election. So, the stakes are so high because, Romania is a major NATO member, and all this comes at a time when the war in Ukraine is raging. We are seeing Trump appointees such as Vice President J.D. Vance and Elon Musk talk about stolen elections. Now, this is the same rhetoric that Trump supporters and the MAGA people in the U.S. have talked about. This is the sort of populist theme that talks about, the will of the people being deprived. So there is suddenly, Romania is now seeing itself as sort of caught between the Kremlin because Putin and the Kremlin have denied interference in the November election. And Trump is also smarts from allegations of Russian interference in his first when he ran for president in 2016. So there's this strange confluence where in the old days, Romania was seen as pro-Western, pro-EU, and now this populism is riding high in Romania. Of course, we have to see this is the first round of the vote, but the stakes are really high, especially because Romania is extremely important as a NATO member.
Speaking of, how important is Romania for NATO?
It cannot be overstated. You just have to look at a map of Romania to understand its geostrategic importance. Romania shares a border with Ukraine. It stares across the Black Sea into Russian-occupied Crimea, wherein Sevastopol is the home of the Russian Black Sea Fleet. Romania has some major NATO bases. In the south, it's got the Develesu Air Base, which is home to U.S. Missile defense systems. And it's got another air base that is coming up that's going to be upgraded. This is called the MK base, right on its eastern flank near the Black Sea port. And this base is going to get an upgrade. So by 2030, it's supposed to play a major role. Romania is putting $2.7 billion into this upgrade, which is critical to protect NATO's eastern flank. And under the Romanian system, the president, it's pretty much like the French system. They have a parliament and a prime minister, but it's the Romanian president that looks after foreign policy and defense. And if there is a president that is seen as Eurosceptic and not committed to NATO and not committed to the war in Ukraine, just at the time when the US is pulling back on its support, this does not harbor well for Ukraine's and for Europe's war against the Russian occupation in Ukraine.
Leela, thank you very much indeed.